obviously we've been kind of like proactive on the trade front, wanting the Detroit Lions to make trades. I'm talking like 2 weeks ago. I've been even talking about like as much as acquiring a running back.
Yeah.
But Dan Campbell spoke on the flagship station today for the Detroit Lions, and he had this to say.
I didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
Dan Campbell said, on the Lions trade deadline approaches from Will Birchfield from the Detroit Lions flagship station on the radio. He said, this is where Brad and I really are tied to the hip. He knows what we're about, and we're not going to mess with the vibe of the team. There's no talent that's worth that. Chris, solo cam for me for a second. Dan Campbell, I love you, man. I appreciate what you've been doing. You're a great coach. You get the boys riled up. That's bullshit. That is honestly bullshit. Like, you can't tell me if Tyreek Hill walked through those doors, you wouldn't accept it. You can't tell me if Jalen Ramsey walked through those doors, you wouldn't accept it. You can't tell me after what you see Jalen Carter doing in this league, if he walked through those doors, you wouldn't accept it. Talent is talent. Winning is winning. You get all the talent you can. And I know what he's talking. He's not saying we're not going to get anybody because they're bad, but this is the thing that they've driven. This is the thing that the Fords have driven since they've owned this team, about the right guys, the right situations, good guys, good team. And we feel the opposite on this show. I don't give a shit what kind of person he is. If he helps you win football games, you sign with your football team. I don't care if he's out there drop kicking old ladies in the street. If he helps you win football games, you sign with your football team. So I don't like to see that, but I know it's not the end-all, be-all, and I still believe they're going to get somebody to help them in the future.
I just need you to trust me. That's all.
Chris,
Please.
I'm going to see something in Slack, but it's funny, too, like, I guess reading it and, like, because I know that all the comps are made between he and the Big Lebowski, or whatever the dude's name is. But it's like, I just really want to mess up the vibe, man. But as much as I hate to have heard that and read it to reaffirm those comments, I believe they stand by that. Just because, like, looking at Jalen Carter heading into this draft class, you absolutely knew that guy was a lock to be what we see him as on the field.
He's the best player in the draft.
But Dan Campbell, time and time again, they want Dan Campbell guys. They want guys that reaffirm, like, their actions and their attitudes that are just talented on top of that. And then, just to be honest with you, Rod, like, it's not the way it works.
Brad Holmes has said, he's spoken on that. Or it was Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell. You can afford one knucklehead.
You can afford one bad apple. You can afford one knucklehead. You can afford a couple. So do it. Like, I don't need choir boys. I don't need them taking my daughter, my future daughter, my sister out for dinner. I need them to win football games. Football is a violent sport. Football is an aggressive sport. Football is an angry sport. Sometimes you need violent, angry, aggressive people to help you win football games, especially at the positions we are in need of. Mm-hmm. Defensive line, cornerback. I don't want church boys playing defensive line or cornerback. I want angry dogs playing defensive line and quarterback. I want straight up killers playing defensive line and cornerback. So we'll see. But, like, I feel like this locker room is insulated enough. I feel like the coaching staff and the ownership is insulated enough that if somebody is a bad guy or not the fit, you can bring him in here and you'll be fine. As long as he is not getting in his own way and you are winning football games, I do not give a shit what he does in his personal time. I do not give a shit about his views outside of football. Let the man eat. As long as he's not getting suspended, not getting arrested, you can do whatever the hell you want if you go out there and you help us win football games.
Yeah. And I guess it just sucks, man. And I heard some rumors that, like, there's a certain guy in particular that we want that the Detroit Lions have just flat out said no on, and I want somebody else. Now the source, it's not one of the sources I've gotten, like, 100% stuff from, but it was Chase Young. I guess in the conversation, and again, this is not me. This is per like another content creator, I believe is Dan from Lions Talk, but he said that the Lions were offered Chase Young, and they'd rather have Montez Sweat or Jonathan Allen. I'm not opposed to Jonathan Allen, by the way. I would love for that, but the Chase Young was the piece. That is the piece that I feel like if the Detroit Lions truly acquired that, you're giving yourself one of those defensive fronts that allows your secondary to not have to. I mean, maybe Will Harris hurts you every single time he's out there, but I feel like it would hurt a little bit less if you had Chase Young and Aiden Hutchinson on that same defensive front. Now, obviously, the Detroit Lions passed on Jalen Carter. They had a premier talent like that at the tip of their fingers at the pick number 6. Decided to trade back. I'm thinking maybe they get him again. No, the Eagles took him. And guess what? The Eagles are the number one team in the NFC this year. Guess what? The Eagles won the Super Bowl last year. They're not afraid to make moves. They're not afraid to make trades. One, got rid of, was it Edmonds, their starting safety too?
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken. Traded away their starting safety in Edmonds and brought in Byard, who's obviously just quite clearly an upgrade. A little bit older, but still an upgrade. They didn't care about bringing Jalen Carter in. Now, granted, if you're talking about the vibe, he has former teammates with Jordan Davis and N'Kobe Dean that are along there, and they brought Nolan Smith as well too. Maybe that's a different conversation in terms of like vibe, but like I guess it hurts because I just need to see this play out. Maybe I'm being a little bit impatient, but I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
Like just give me if he can ball, get him on the team.
Chef Talks NFL says because Chase Young is an injury concern, a major injury concern. He's had one major injury in his career.
It was an ACL.
Yeah,
and it happened halfway through last season, or I'm sorry, the previous season. And then obviously when you're healing from injuries, ACLs, you come back midway through.
Thank you. 1313. Chase Young has had one injury. It's literally, he had one major injury. The other, I mean, he's been nicked up and missed a game here or there, but he has had one major injury. So, like, if they, I don't know, man. I feel like you guys just, as Lions fans, try to make excuses for stuff like that.
Well, and then I have this too, and it's not that we've been parading this as an example to you guys all year round, and it goes beyond just this team. But we even had this tweet from shout out to my guy Everything King put this out today too. This is the Philadelphia Eagles pieces they've acquired via trade.
Yeah,
to help them along their way. Two of them kind of hurt too because they're former Detroit Lions, but one, Darius Slay, two, AJ Brown,
Kevin Byard,
and DeAndre Swift. Like trading, somebody on our Instagram reel yesterday too said, "No, stay put. They gotta sell the foundation." Like, brother, that's not what. Winning teams make trades.
Yeah,
winning teams are constantly trying to improve, no matter what, no matter whose feelings are hurt. You have the Super Bowl winning Rams.
Yeah,
got rid of like the most important position on the team in Jared Goff. Didn't give a shit. Took him right out of this equation, and on top of that, added 2 first-round picks to him.
Yeah.
Fuck your feelings.
And
I want to win games. Fuck the vibe. The vibe's turned up when we win games.
Yeah.
Go get you some bad motherfuckers.
Yes.
Go get them. We need them. I want them.
Go get a Jalen Ramsey. Go get an OBJ. These guys aren't the best locker room presence, but guess what? They won a Super Bowl. Like that's all I want. That is what I want more than anything in this life. Pretty much, basically anything in this life, is for the Lions to win a Super Bowl. And I understand. You want to do it your own way? You're not. You're not going to do it. When the Eagles are doing shit like that, when the Niners are doing shit like that, when the Rams do shit like that, like, you can't sign Bob Smith out of BYU and expect him to be Jalen Carter. It's not going to happen.
When you talk about these players, I mean that expression is used like Jalen Carter makes a big play. That's a bad motherfucker.
Yes.
Like the term bad motherfucker. Get you a bad motherfucker. Get him.
Yes.
Get him. Mama, there goes that man. That's a bad man. What's what Stephen A. call Aaron Rodgers?
A bad
That's a bad man.
Yeah.
Get you a bad man.
Yes.
Because if you want to climb to the top, you need some bad men to do the dirty work.
That's exactly what it is. And especially, like I said, I cannot stress this enough. Defensive line, I don't want nice guys playing defensive line. You cannot play defensive line and just be nice all the time. Hutch isn't nice all the time. Hutch is an asshole on the field.
Yeah.
We see it all the time. We see him talking shit to guys. Yeah, we see him on Hard Knocks. I want angry, mean motherfuckers in there playing offensive line or defensive line and offensive line.
Yeah.
I want guys going out there that want to take the head off the opposing quarterback every single fucking play. Not ask him how his grandma's doing. I want him to rip his head off. That's how you win football games.
Richie Incognito got hit on a national scandal where he was bullying other offensive
people.
linemen,
dropping
in bombs, and still carried on a professional career.
He was still good, very good.
Because he was still good.
Yeah.
He was a bad man. He even had an incident where, if I'm recounting it right, was outside of a freaking gym holding weights, like threatening to take people's lives.
Aaron Donald was swinging 2 helmets like weapons at practice. Myles Garrett cracked the motherfucker with his own helmet on the head, and he is the best defensive player in football. Like, come on.
Sue. Hey, Matt LaBall. Perfect example.
Like Sue. The best defense Detroit has seen in the past 40 years.
You want kneecap biters?
Yeah.
Go get them.